Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us here on the stream on this Tuesday. It is January 3rd. I'm Elise Eating, and it's so good to be back with you today. And remember that you can chime in if there's something that you want to say or maybe share some of your thoughts, ask some questions. You can do so on the live chat on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram as well. So wherever you want to do that, we are watching, and we can hopefully address some of what you have to say. But we'll get you caught up on weather here in just a little bit. But first, we have to start with a really big news story from here in the metro area. You might have heard about this. It doesn't happen often, a shooting at a library. So in particular, this happened in Decatur. Here's what we know about it. Police are searching for a man still today after a shooting at the Decatur Library. They say this left a man in critical condition. So Decatur police say the victim was found inside the Decatur County Public Library on Sycamore Street. Again, this is in downtown Decatur Monday afternoon. He was rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital. So officers have issued warrants for 44-year-old Medicus Brown, who's accused of intent to murder and illegal firearm possession. So this is who you're looking at on your screen right there. Again, 44-year-old Medicus Brown. Investigators say that shooting stemmed from an argument over computers. They say this was in the computer lab. It was some kind of fight that escalated to gunfire. So at the time, there were 40 to 50 people inside the library. As you can imagine, they were shaken up. We were able to speak with some of them and just hear, their thoughts. Many of them expressed they were just happy to be okay after all of this. So the library remains closed at least through today while police continue their investigation, a huge crime scene that they're having to comb through here. So if you know anything about this, or perhaps if you know where Medicus Brown is, you're asked to contact Decatur police. Certainly a scary scene there in Decatur. Well, now on to this. Fulton County is heading to court at less than a week after the FBI raided the county's election hub as part of an investigation that's tied to the 2020 presidential election. So here's what we know about it. FBI agents were seen removing boxes and ballots, voter rolls, tabulation tapes, all of this from the election hub in Union City. And that's a move that's raised quite a few questions among county leaders, many of them not happy about this. So these materials are connected to the 2020 election, which former President Donald Trump lost here in Georgia. So Marvin Arrington Jr. is saying that he believes the election was conducted properly and that several audits and recounts have confirmed the results of this. He says there was no funny business. Everything was above the law here. He says, if I had to choose between politics or politricks, I choose politics, because what we're talking about is creating false narratives. So this was some of what he had to say about it. He said federal investigators previously filed a lawsuit against the Fulton County Clerk of Superior Court to get the records, but Thomas Thrash Jr. denied that request. Arrington believes the raid is an attempt to circumvent that ruling. So because the records were removed, the county is also requesting a forensic audit, and they're arguing the chain of custody has been broken. So Arrington says it's not clear what remedy a judge might order, adding the situation could affect the broader case here. So the raid was carried out by federal agents, and that resulted in the removal of hundreds of boxes. Again, all of this tied to the 2020 election. The search warrant indicates investigators were looking for ballots. They were looking for voter rolls, election materials from the contest of then former President Trump. The election he lost here in Georgia. Multiple audits, recounts, prior investigations have found no evidence of widespread fraud, that would have altered the results of that. But let's get to what some of our lawmakers are saying about this. Many of them here in Georgia not happy that there was a federal raid at the elections hub. So a letter was written to try to sound the alarm and say that voters' rights were being affected by this. So that includes Senator Raphael Warnock. He's one of the three, along with Representative Nikema Williams, also took part in writing this letter, along with Representative Lucy McBath. So the letter is to Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the trio expressed what they call grave concerns on the FBI's raid, and they requested an immediate briefing. So let's take a look at that letter together. If you look at your screen, you can see what's here. But I'm going to read this. It says, "Dear Attorney General Bondi, as the the elected representatives of the voters of Fulton County, we write with grave concerns regarding the Federal Bureau of Investigation's activity with respect to the 2020 election ballots of Fulton County voters and request an immediate briefing on this matter from the U.S. Department of Justice. Goes on to say on January 28th, the FBI executed a criminal search warrant at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center in Union City, seeking records to the 2020 presidential election. So the 2020 presidential election in Fulton County and throughout the state of Georgia has been repeatedly recognized as accurate and secure, including by your predecessor during the first Trump administration, Attorney General William Barr. Goes on to say this conclusion, as one of us has already noted, follows multiple counts of the ballot, numerous investigations by election officials and judges. Goes on to say we are deeply concerned that President Trump's consistent spreading of misinformation and dangerous conspiracy theories about the 2020 election fundamentally undermines the electoral process. Looks like towards the bottom here, we expect your full compliance with federal law and regulations concerning the handling of evidence and full transparency on their application to records at issue here. Says this includes an explanation for why Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard was at the scene of the FBI activity January 28th and whether the Trump administration is investigating a legitimate foreign intelligence nexus, which would legally require congressional briefing. They end it with this by saying, given these concerns, we request that your office provide the briefing to our offices concerning the activity and its related investigation by February 13th of 2026. So if you were listening there, you heard me mention something about Tulsi Gabbard. So let's take a look at what they're referencing right now. So they're talking about Director of National Intelligence, again, Tulsi Gabbard. She says she was present last week during the FBI's execution of a search warrant at an election office in Fulton County. She told lawmakers she was there at President Trump's direction as part of her role overseeing election security and cybersecurity. She said her actions were lawful and limited, and that she did not interfere with the investigation. She also acknowledged arranging a brief call between President Trump and FBI agents during the visit. So Fulton County officials are now planning to sue, challenging the legality of the search. They're seeking the return of those seized ballots and election records. Democrats continue to question whether Gabbard's presence crossed the line into law enforcement, while she says she'll brief Congress once intelligent assessments are complete. So this investigation and legal battles over Fulton County's election records are expected to continue. We can count on that in the coming weeks. All right, let's switch gears now and get to some lighter news, but some really big news that's happening here for us. So the Atlanta Falcons are formally introducing their new general manager. So they conducted the search, and here's who ended up getting tapped into that position. Ian Cunningham comes to Atlanta from Chicago Bears organization, and a really cool fact about him is he's a Georgia native. He grew up in Roswell, and I've seen some video. Looks like he's got a wife and 3 kids he's bringing home. He said he is excited to be back home into a place where he grew up. So ahead of the introduction, he made an initial visit to Falcons headquarters in Flowery Branch, where Falcons president of football Matt Ryan toured him around, showed him the ropes. We saw some video of them talking and touring through the facilities there. So the team has said Ryan and Cunningham will head the franchise's front office moving forward. So they will be the team at the helm of all of that. So be sure to stick around at noon, because we'll hear our sports team talk about, what was said and just kind of the vibe, if you will, of having them together and of welcoming Ian Cunningham here to Georgia. I guess I should say back to Georgia. All right, let's get to some local headlines that we're following today. This being a really big one. We're talking about the Tara Baker murder trial, and testimony continues in this today. So this is day 2 of the trial, and in just a little bit, we're going to listen in to court. But just to brief you on what's happening here and what this is all about. So the trial is for the 2001 murder of Tara Baker, and again, it's entering its 2nd day in Athens. Prosecutors are claiming evidence identifies Edric Faust as the killer with, they're saying, near certainty. The defense is arguing the investigation, though, was flawed and that Faust is being used as a scapegoat to provide closure for the community and for Tara Baker's family. So Baker, 23 years old, found dead inside of her burned apartment at 2001, just a day before her 24th birthday. Investigators later determined that fire had been intentionally set, and they ruled her death a homicide. So no arrests were made for more than 2 decades until Foss was taken into custody in 2014. So again, this is day 2 of the trial that's happening in Athens. And if you stick with us here in just a little bit, we will take you live inside the courtroom and we'll listen to some of what is happening there. But in the meantime, we want to get to this. A new report from the ACLU of Georgia is highlighting chronic overcrowding at the Fulton County Jail. It's linking it to some serious public health and safety risks. So the report was released today. It's by Community Over Cages Coalition, and it finds hundreds of people jailed for low-level offenses or inability to pay the bill with devastating consequences. Here's what they're saying about this. This was in the report. They're saying since 2021, 32 people have died in custody from suicide, violence, and neglect. So advocates say systematic issues, including underused diversion programs, income-based detention, and slow indictments continue to drive this overcrowding that's causing so many problems at the Fulton County Jail. So they held a news conference this morning near the entrance to the jail. So let's listen in to some of what was said there.
I'm Akiva Friedland. I'm a senior staff attorney at the ACLU of Georgia, an organization that defends the civil liberties and rights of all Georgians through legal action, legislative and community advocacy, and civic education. Thanks for joining us. For the past 3 years, the ACLU of Georgia has been a proud member of the Community Over Cages Coalition, a collection of organizations and individuals working to reduce incarceration and criminalization in Fulton County, and we're pleased that many of them were able to join us today. We all work closely together as a coalition on a new report titled Jail Overcrowding in Fulton County: Causes, Impacts, and Interventions. The report builds on 2 previous reports about this that we released in 2022 and 2023. It provides an updated analysis of the policies that are keeping people in jail, and it offers clear, evidence-based recommendations for safely and sustainably reducing incarceration. A couple of the top lines. Since the 2023 report, Fulton County has made limited progress in reducing incarceration. Indictment delays have eased somewhat, and new investments, such as the Center for Diversion and Services, reflect an effort to reduce the jail population, but the county has not yet adequately addressed the causes or the consequences of chronic overcrowding, which is an over-incarceration problem. The jail population rose by 20% in the first half of 2025, and incarcerated people have continued to die while in custody. Black people remain significantly overrepresented in the jail, and people charged only with misdemeanors make up a growing share of people who are detained. The report shows that on any given day, hundreds of people are locked up in Fulton County just because they cannot afford to pay for their release, often for weeks or months. And I personally have visited people incarcerated for their inability to pay bonds as low as $1. This is happening in Fulton County and across the state.
All right, so we've been listening to a representative from the Georgia ACLU right there, but want to get to some video you've probably seen on social media, speaking of the Fulton County Jail. So just this weekend, a leak at the jail caused widespread flooding from the front entrance to the lobby, the medical clinic, even courtrooms, an absolute mess. And I want to be clear, Fulton County Sheriff has gone on record numerous times talking about the conditions of the Fulton County Jail. He's been really honest about the situation there and just his thoughts on that. So he said the issue is the budget. He says he hasn't been able to get the Board of Commissioners to give him the money he needs to address issues like overtime for employees, overcrowding, and violence. Let's listen in.
Should the lease end today, or whenever the lease is up, it will be deliberately indifferent, it will cause more harm, and it will put us as a city and a county where more people, I said this almost 4 years ago, people will continue to die the more we cram people in these spaces. We owed that, and obviously, like any good business, they wanted their money. So this is a budgetary issue that we have continually fought for, and so we were not in a position. Again, we talk about the historic underfunding of the sheriff's office, and that played a large part.
Okay, so you're listening to Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labat right there. Now, those sound bites are months apart from 2 years ago. We reached out to the sheriff's office for comment on this today, just to get some comments on the ACLU of Georgia's report on the Fulton County the Fulton County jail conditions there, but we haven't heard back from them just yet. All right, well, still ahead for you this morning. We are going to check back in the court. Day 2 of the Tara Baker trial continues, so we'll have the very latest on that in just a few minutes. Stick around. Everyone, 11:17 it looks like here. Meteorologist Alex Forbes is joining us now. So listen, as you can say whatever you want to say as long as there's not a winter storm this weekend.
There is not.
Okay, good.
At least not here. I know we've got viewers in a lot of spots. There could be in other places, but
That's
I don't know.
True. I'm glad you specified.
My focus is on North Georgia, and I'm looking at the sun this weekend.
Yes.
Now, here's the irony: is I'm going out of town this weekend. I already had a trip planned,
Really?
and I will be in Indiana, where the high is 29 on Saturday.
Come on.
So I'm like, all right, I guess we're just.
You can't get away.
It's the groundhog. So look, I was out on the weather deck for the 10 o'clock hour of Good Day, and I walked outside and I was like, okay, it's kind of nice. We're probably in the 50s. It was 42. I was like, that's just the changing of your perspective.
Been shining on you then, though,
right? Yeah, in a dark jacket, and yeah, it was. So it depends on where you are. I think if you're in the shade, probably a little cool. If you're in the sun, a little warm. Now it is actually 52 in Atlanta.
There we go.
An hour later, 43 in Canton, 49 in Gainesville right now, 45 in Athens, and 50 over in Eatonton. Now we do have rain on the way tonight. That's going to be really evening commute into the overnight time frame. You see it back into Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, and a cold front behind that, and that's going to slide through here through the week ahead. So as we look at the remainder of the day now, we're looking at 50s for the afternoon, 56 or so as a high temperature, and then sliding back down into the 40s as the rain settles in. You see a 90% chance of rain there, 8 and 11 p.m. So that's going to get started really after the dinner time hour. Here's how it shapes up on the hour-by-hour forecast. You're going to notice a decent amount of cloud cover today. There is 6 o'clock. See Blairsville over to Rome, down into Haralson County, the rain moving in, and then that spreads across the metro. It's not necessarily going to be a heavy soaking rain, maybe more like a drizzle for at least a decent period of time. That's 11 p.m. on into tomorrow morning. Looking at that sticking around, and well, it just went right on past the commute forecast there. So I think what we're looking at is showers moving in for the evening hours. So it's possible that a lot of people get home completely dry, but then the rain settles in after that, and we still could have some lingering sprinkles by the time we get to tomorrow morning. But by the time we get to the evening hours, things will come to an end. How much rain are we talking about? Well, I wish it was more than this, because we were talking about the drought monitor yesterday. We could really use the rainfall, but we're looking at, generally speaking, 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, which is not enough. We need some more than that. February is typically one of our wetter months, so hoping to see some more down the pipe here, but not necessarily looking for it this time around. Then we are dry Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You don't have to come to work this weekend, by the way. The weather not going to be a concern. Temperatures on the uphill swing, not for me though. 58 on Saturday, 60 on Sunday here in Atlanta. Where I'm going, it's still going to be cold, unfortunately, so I will not be enjoying it. So I hope everybody here does.
Yeah, seriously, we will for you. Okay?
And don't thank the groundhog for it.
Listen, if that poor guy hasn't gotten stewed by you, I've seen memes of folks wearing a groundhog fur coat.
I'll tell you what, though. So I've been doing this whole antagonistic groundhog thing for a couple years now, and this year was the first year that I felt like people were kind of on board with it.
Absolutely.
Like last
100%.
year and the year before, they were like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Yeah, we could cook them this year."
But see, I'm waiting on PETA to reach out to you.
They did once.
Okay, there we go.
I won't say my response. Let's just say it involved Chick-fil-A.
Oh, no. All right.
Well, they responded to me when I was very conveniently at Chick-fil-A. So I was like,
really?
They did on Twitter.
Hilarious.
Yep.
You're not alone this go around, at least.
Exactly.
All right, Alex, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. Okay, it's 11:21. We want to take a live look right now out over the city. I mean, you heard Alex say that many of us are getting some sunshine, which is great. We will take it. We need all of the sunshine we can get after what we've experienced for the last few weekends here. Well, something big that's happening today, day 2 of the Tara Baker murder trial. So this is happening right now in Athens. Just to quickly recap, what this is all about and why we don't have this. Okay, we don't. But do you want me to talk through this? Show folks what's going on? Yes. Okay. If you are maybe just joining us right now, we're talking about day 2 of the trial of Tara Baker for the alleged murder of Tara Baker. This is happening in Athens. So prosecutors claim evidence identifies Edric Faust as the killer, with they're saying near certainty. The defense is arguing the investigation was flawed, and Faust is being used as a scapegoat to provide closure for the community. So we're working on getting this this live look from the courtroom up for you so that we can hear some of what's happening in day 2 of the trial. But all right, let's press pause here for just a moment, tell you about something that's coming up here in just a few minutes. Mayor Andre Dickens is hosting a news conference, and he's talking about some resources and, announcing some expanded help that's coming for business owners ahead of the FIFA World Cup that's happening here in Atlanta this summer. So we'll check in with him in just a few minutes. Stick around. Well, we checked. It looks like we do have the courtroom camera from day 2 of the Tara Baker murder trial in Athens. So let's listen into what's happening in court.
Does the labeling itself, what is marked on a certain exhibit, have anything to do with the results of any testing of what is inside?
It would impact the interpretation of it.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Any requests? Mr. Cruz?
Yes, ma'am. Just
Go ahead.
thing with Defense Exhibit 6. May I publish Defense Exhibit 6 to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes. How did you want to do that? On your computer?
No, I was just going to hand them.
That's fine.
May I approach you, Dr. Falcon? Thank you. And for the record, Your Honor, Defense Exhibit 6 was identified as Ms. Baker's anus and the upper area of her body. But otherwise, Your Honor, I thank you. I have no other questions for Dr. Falzon. Thank you so much for your service, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Bolden, any other questions of this witness? May this witness be excused. Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
You are free to go, sir. You may call your next witness.
State calls Katie Lonstein.
Would you get Katie Longstein? Thank you.
Safe travels.
Ma'am, if you would please raise your right hand and take an oath. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. If you would, please speak towards the microphone, and if you would state and spell your name for the record.
Yes, my full name is Catherine Lonstein, Katherin Lahnstein, but everybody calls me Katie.
All right. Ms. Lonstein, what professional field are you involved in?
I'm an attorney.
Okay. And where did you attend law school?
Here at the University of Georgia.
And what years did you attend school at the University of Georgia? 2000
to 2003.
Before you got to UGA, where did you complete your undergraduate degree?
At the University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
All right. And in law school, can you describe the way during the first year of law school that the student body is divided?
Yes. So we're divided into 3 sections, X, Y, and Z. And you have all of your classes with the folks that are in your section for your entire first year.
And while you were in law school, did you ever meet an individual named Tara Louise Baker?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when did you meet Tara?
Very first day of law school. We were in orientation, and that was the moment.
And so when you say that was the moment, it seems like it was a quick friendship. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. Literally from that moment, Tara and I and another woman named Jenya became very good friends. I don't remember many moments of law school after that we weren't together, studying, walking, anything.
All right. So can you explain to the jury kind of the academic rigor involved in that first year of law school?
Yes, exhausting. You are in class 5 to 8 hours a day, then you are studying another 5 to 6 hours a day. If you're lucky, you sleep some, eat some, but it is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life.
That experience, and in particular sharing it with the same people in every class, did you find that to increase or impact the way relationships were forged at all?
Yes. You form these bonds through the stress that you're going through. You're all learning the same thing. You're all studying the same things, and you're all exhausted in the same way. People would form friendships that would turn into marriages. People would form friendships that turn into lifelong friendships. It's just unlike anything I've been through before. It's like being in the trenches, I suppose, although, I don't know other way to describe it.
All right. And so would you say that you would you characterize your relationship with Ms. Baker?
Right, so we're just speaking in on day 2 of the murder trial for Tara Baker. This is happening in Athens right now. So if you'd like to keep watching the trial in full, if you log on to YouTube right now, if that's not where you're watching us, log on to YouTube, go to the Fox 5 Atlanta channel, and we are streaming this, what's happening in court in its entirety. So that's something that you can tune into right there. We're going to keep our eye on this, though, and we may dip back in at some point, but just want to let you know if you want to keep watching how you're able to do that. But switching gears now and going to a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing to examine hidden facts regarding Nazis and Swiss banks. So this is something different, and apparently it's getting pretty heated, but the focus is on Credit Suisse and its successor, UBS, regarding accounts that were maintained for Nazis during and after World War II. So this should be interesting. Let's listen into this judiciary hearing.
Take this money, but Credit Suisse also helped many of their customers, Nazis, actually escape after Germany lost the war. Isn't that true?
Through the rat lines, yes, Senator.
Rat lines. They call them rat lines. Now, some in the Jewish community pointed this out to Credit Suisse. And Credit Suisse decided to hire Mr. Borowski. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
And Mr. Borowski did his job, didn't he?
He has, Senator.
And in fact, he did his job so well that Credit Suisse fired him. Isn't that right?
Senator, I wasn't a part of those decisions.
Are you saying he did a bad job?
We are grateful for rehiring Mr. Borowski, and he has done tremendous work.
Come on, Mr. Borowski. Let's be honest here. You're under oath. They fired Mr. Borowski, they meaning Credit Suisse, which you now own, because he was doing his job, didn't they?
I wasn't part of Credit Suisse at the time, Senator, so I am unaware.
Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy?
I do not anymore.
Do you believe in the Easter Bunny?
Not anymore, Senator.
Do you believe that Jimmy Hoffa died of natural causes?
I don't have a comment on that,
Of course,
Senator.
they fired him because he was doing his job. And then UBS bought Credit Suisse, and UBS, kudos to you, you rehired Mr. Borowski. Is that right?
We did.
And he's rocking along doing his job. Only he gets too close again. And UBS has decided to take some of the relevant documents, this is pretty slick, actually, and give these documents to its lawyer and claim attorney-client privilege. Isn't that right?
With due respect, Senator, this is our investigation, which is being supervised by Mr. Borowski, and we have provided a cooperation.
You didn't take these documents and give them to your lawyer because you wanted your lawyer to disclose them at a press conference, did you? You gave these documents to your lawyer to hide them, didn't you?
Maybe I can...
I'm not talking to you, Counselor. I'm talking to Mr. Borowski.
No, not to hide them, Senator.
Oh, you didn't? Well, why'd you do it then? Out of the goodness of your heart?
No, in the
interest of justice?
As my colleague mentioned, we've been fully cooperative. You
haven't turned over these documents.
We have not turned over the documents, Senator, because of the threat of litigation.
Ah, the threat of litigation. Oh, I see. Now, Credit Suisse, before you acquired them, paid $1.25, I think, billion in damages to the Jewish people. Is that right?
That was a collective settlement from Swiss banks.
Yeah, but that doesn't account for any new evidence of crimes, does it?
It does, Senator. It's for known and unknown claims, and the larger portion is for unknown claims.
So that's what this is all about. You don't want to pay any more money, do you?
No, the $1.25 billion is for known and unknown claims.
So your position is that Credit Suisse, whose liabilities and assets you assumed, paid $1.25 billion, and you're not paying a penny more. Is that right?
So we also paid. It was a collective settlement, and the settlement was final.
But your position is you're not paying a penny more. Is that right?
That is correct, Senator. It was accounted for.
So that's what this is still all about, isn't it? The money.
For us, it's about finding the truth, Senator.
When your predecessor took the Nazi money, and it's about the money right now, isn't it?
I don't agree with that, Senator.
Oh, I see. What could it be about then? Principle? The sanctity of the attorney-client privilege? UBS, look, I don't hate anybody, sir. I want you to know that. But we all have a record. UBS got caught manipulating the LIBOR interest rate, didn't it? Had to pay $700 million for manipulating the interest rate. Isn't that correct?
Amongst other banks, yes, Senator.
UBS also got caught hiding the money of 52,000 Americans so they wouldn't have to pay taxes. Isn't that correct?
That was settled in 2009.
Yeah, you paid $780 million, didn't you, for doing that? Isn't that correct?
I'm not sure of the exact number, Senator.
I am. UBS also, just in recent history, decided to debank people whose politics you didn't like, didn't you?
No, Senator.
UBS said we're not going to do business with firearm-related companies or oil and gas companies and coal miners and crypto financiers, didn't you?
We provide fair access for...
But you debanked these people, didn't you? How noble of you. How wonderful it must be to be more righteous than the rest of us. Here's my advice, and then I'm going to hush, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your indulgence. I don't have anything against the good people at UBS. But the smart play here for you is to release these documents and let Mr. Borofsky finish his report and let the chips fall where they may, and then in front of God and country, if you owe more money, then by God, pay it. Because that's what this is about. It's all about the Benjamins. It was then, and it is now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing. I just want to follow up on Senator Kennedy's line of questioning. Mr. Korofsky, the information about these rat lines that has come out subsequent to the settlement, was that known to Credit Suisse at the time of the settlement?
We believe that Mr. Borofsky's findings are great findings. He did great work, and for us it was new information through the investigation, and we're grateful for the work. We believe in the 90s it was known about rat lines, Senator, but the fact that the AIO established an office in a Credit Suisse branch in Bern, that AIO members had accounts at Credit Suisse, and I believe Mr. Borofsky also identified, including but also outside of the Bern branch rat lines, 51 in total names of individuals tied to rat lines that also had accounts at Credit Suisse.
So, Mr. Korofsky, it's your testimony that at the time of the 1999 settlement that folks at Credit Suisse were unaware that they had participated in helping to finance these rat lines?
So I can't, speak to what was known at the time when the settlement, Senator, was being negotiated, which was why the component of the settlement were legal claims that were accounted for and compensated, which is the first part. At the second part, which was the majority, is for unknown claims that the banks agreed to pay for this moral accountability, understanding that the nature of the settlement encouraged us to continue to look, explore, and investigate.
But that presumes that this was an unknown claim at the time of the settlement. If Credit Suisse was aware of this, didn't disclose it, is it your position that the settlement would still cover that? Or would that, given that the party sitting across from the table wasn't aware of this, would that be outside the scope of that agreement?
No, so we would understand this to be as part of the unknown, since it was new information that we learned.
But that's presuming that it was unknown, right? Mr. Borofsky, have you identified any indication that these accounts were known to people at Credit Suisse at the time of the settlement? That is, that they had facilitated the rat lines?
Regarding the rat lines, no, we've not seen evidence that this was known at the time of the settlement.
And is it your view, Mr. Borofsky, that if this or other claims were known to Credit Suisse at the time, that it would be outside the scope of the settlement?
Senator, the settlement is really outside the scope of my engagement. I haven't really done an analysis of that.
And can you or Rabbi Cooper share with us who are some of the beneficiaries of the rat line? That is, who are some of the more high-profile beneficiaries of the Credit Suisse financing of these rat lines to get people out of Germany?
That is partly a work in progress. We identify in my written testimony a handful of the Nazis who we've confirmed were directly assisted by members of the rat line, but that work is ongoing. I mean, this was, many Nazis went to Argentina. The estimates are hundreds of war criminals made their way from Germany into Argentina. One of the things that we're still working on is, were all of them participants of the AIO rat line, or was it a subset of them? That's part of what we're working on. But some of the bold-faced names who've not yet directly tied, people like Adolf Eichmann, people like Dr. Mengele. I mean, they did transport from Germany into Italy, and on to Argentina, but we haven't confirmed their participation in this rat line quite yet.
And Rabbi Cooper, why Argentina? Why did Argentina become this mecca for fleeing Nazis?
Well, there was a strong German community in Argentina even before World War II. And, of course, you had Juan Perón, who ideologically was very comfortable with what the Third Reich was involved with, and also, I think, economically benefited from that relationship. But Senator Schiff, I really want to thank you for raising the question, because especially for younger generations, you hear the term rat line. I think it's important, and we don't have, for sure, a direct connection on specific individuals that we've been able to learn yet, but we're talking about the architect of the Holocaust, Adolf Eichmann. We're talking about Dr. Joseph Mengele, the angel of death of Auschwitz, responsible for the death of 400,000, for the murder, 400,000 people, including medical experiments. We're talking about Walter Rauff, who is the person who invented the portable gas chambers. We're talking about the commandant of Treblinka, where 800,000 men, women, and children, Jewish children in Poland, were gassed to death. So the big names and the smaller names. And I can just also add, and I know if he was alive today, he would be so grateful to the chairman and everyone here for this hearing. These individuals would escape justice. Mr. Wiesenthal was up against an incredible series of red lines that made it so difficult. He was after Eichmann. They got Eichmann. Mengele avoided the bar of justice until the day he died. Ralph and others, when they were finally exposed, suddenly got sick and passed away in South America. So Argentina, politically speaking, ideologically speaking, in terms of the person running that country with an iron fist, was the perfect place. It was also a large country, and some of them left Argentina for Paraguay and other places in South America at a time when the world was ready to move on from World War II and were involved in other issues. A few people like Simon Wiesenthal had the courage to pursue it. And the reason it was so difficult, you have to lay some of that blame
okay, so
right
if you are just tuning in, here's what's happening right now. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee holding a hearing to examine hidden facts and potential connections between Nazis and Swiss banks. That is what they are looking at. So it's been a little bit of everything, right? This has been like a history lesson. And then, of course, we have Senator John Kennedy being Senator John Kennedy. And I'm scrolling through some of the comments that you guys are leaving on TikTok. Lots of comments about him. Many of you a huge fan of his and just, you know, not knowing what's going to come out of his mouth. So he gave us quite a few moments during all this. But again, looking at a very serious topic right here. So not quite sure what's expected to come of this or when any kind of determination, if one will be made. But just something that we're watching today. But also looking at some of the comments on TikTok as well. Many of you mentioning the Epstein files. So let's get into a story now about that. Just a bit of an update here, talking about the Clintons. So former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, they've agreed to testify in a House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein just ahead of a possible contempt of Congress vote. So let's dive into this. Attorneys for the Clintons, both of them, say they will both appear for sworn depositions on mutually agreeable dates. But House Oversight Chair John Comer says no final deal is in place yet. He's not dropping contempt proceedings, which could carry fines, even jail time, if approved by the House and prosecuted. So the dispute here comes as House Republicans were moving closer to a floor vote that could mark the first time Congress advances contempt charges against a former president. That would be a huge deal. Committee leaders temporarily paused that process while negotiations continue. Republicans say the testimony is necessary for transparency in the Epstein investigation. Now, the Clintons, we got to mention this, they deny any wrongdoing and actually accuse Republicans of politicizing the probe. But again, the big news here is that both Clintons have agreed to testify in a House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. So certainly a big story there. Well, now to one, gosh, it's just heartbreaking to follow this and to imagine what the family is going through. Authorities in Arizona, well, they're now saying they believe the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie was taken against her will. So here's what we know about the whole situation. She's 84 years old, and we're talking about Nancy Guthrie. They say she was last seen Saturday night at her Tucson area home. Family members reported her missing the next day. So this is who you're looking at there on your screen. Sheriff's officials say Guthrie has limited mobility and she does not appear to have left her house on her own. Investigators are stressing too. They say this is not a dementia case. She didn't just wander off. That's not the situation that we're looking at here. They say she is of sound mind. And the urgency with this is really growing because Guthrie needs a daily medication, and they warn that if she doesn't get that within a 24-hour period, her condition could become deadly. So this is really serious for a number of reasons. And there's been a big search underway. Search crews, drones, canine units have been deployed. Authorities are now saying they are treating the home as a crime scene. The homicide unit is involved, and the FBI has offered some assistance in the case as well. But just a terrible, terrible situation. Hoping that there's a good outcome here as the search for Savannah Guthrie's mother continues. Well, still ahead for you on the stream, we are going to get to Gwinnett County. They're having a career fair within county government. Lots of jobs that are available there, so stick around for that. 7:51 on this Tuesday morning. Okay, so if you're looking for a rewarding job, well, Gwinnett County government is hosting a career fair in Duluth this morning. So our Chris Rosenthal is out there live just to give us a look around and see what some of the offerings are.
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, so I am at the Gas South Arena where Gwinnett County is holding a career fair. They've had it here since 9 o'clock this morning, going till 3 o'clock. And I'll tell you, I got here early this morning and there were already crowds of people showing up, coming to this fair. I'll just kind of pan around and just show you. And this is just one of the rooms where people can line up and meet with various department leaders, talking about some of the jobs that are available. There's about 16 different departments here. We got human resources, communications, and also on the other side we have a lot of law enforcement, a lot of police jobs as well. That's actually one of the biggest departments that is hiring here. And I'm actually going to be speaking here with Adrian. Oh, here we go. You've been very busy here. Been very busy here with Adrian McAllister. She's Human Resources Director here at Gwinnett County. And tell me a little bit about this fair. What is on offer here for people?
Well, hi, Chris. This is our 5th year hosting our Career From Here events. It is our largest hiring event that we make available to the community. And really what we have here are county departments that are here in representation, giving our community an opportunity to come in, see what opportunities are here within the county, to meet with representatives, talk and learn a little bit more about the organization, and also apply and maybe even walk away with a conditional job offer.
Yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity here to meet and get a possible interview, huh?
Yes, there is. So for those that pre-registered, we actually are conducting interviews today, and if they're successful, they can walk away with a conditional offer.
How many folks are you anticipating coming here today?
So we had several thousand actually that registered. So far, as of about maybe an hour and a half into it, we had 1,500 that had already registered that checked in. So we're here till 3. We anticipate that number is going to continue to increase throughout the day, and we're ready for it.
What, this seems like it's sort of for everybody. There's a job here, really wide varieties. Talk to me about that.
So that's true, Chris. So we have a vast array of opportunities available, from trade positions like trades techs in our DOT, Department of Transportation and Water Department, to attorney positions. So there are a vast number of opportunities across several different lines of business and different areas of expertise.
Yeah, so really, I mean, if you're watching this at home, I mean, almost any level of experience might find a job here.
Correct. So if you're starting off, entering the workforce, there's an opportunity here. There's a pathway to enter into the workforce, as well as someone who may be changing careers or a seasoned professional. There's opportunities here as well. So it's like I said, it's so vast. I do want to mention that we also have public safety here as well. So our police department, sheriff's office, fire and corrections are here also. And so we're conducting interviews for those departments as well.
And that's one of the biggest departments that needs jobs. There's about 700 jobs, right, available out here?
So currently we do have about a 10% vacancy rate. But the lion's share of those vacancies do exist in our law enforcement departments. So we're heavily recruiting for law enforcement positions, yes.
Great. So, again, this goes until 3 o'clock here at the Gas South Arena in Duluth. You can still come on out. You can register, or you can just walk in, bring your resume, and, you might find yourself a new job opportunity if that's what you're looking for.
Weather today. Here's what our meteorologists are saying that you can experience. Luckily, some sunshine. I think we needed that after everything we've been through. Still cold, but highs in the upper to mid 50s. They're saying rain arrives late today and spreads out the rest of the area through the evening. So there you go. And thank you so much for being with us here on the stream. We're so glad you joined us. We've got the noon show coming up, and then be sure to meet us back here at 1. Stick around.